Good morning everybody and welcome to today's literacy lesson. So today what I need you to start thinking about straight away is the superhero that you designed last week. Last week our task, well one of our tasks, was to design our very own superhero, and you are going to be using that superhero in today's lesson. So if you need to go back to have a little look, I know some of you were painting or drawing it on purple mash, some of you were painting or drawing it on paper. And you wrote about it. If you need to go back to look over that and remind yourself, do that now before we start the lesson. Just pop me on pause and feel free to do that. And then when you get back to now, you should have a good idea of your superhero and what we're going to be talking about today. So your learning objective today is to write descriptive phrases and sentences about your superhero. So you are going to be describing your superhero. So have a few seconds there to think about, if you remember what we mean about when we say we're going to describe. What does describe mean? Have a few minutes to think. Okay, when we are describing something, we are talking about how it looks, how it sounds, maybe how it feels, how it smells. We're using all of our senses that we learned about before to talk about how things look, smell, sound and feel, which we can do all of those with our superhero because we made them up, so we know the answers, don't we? But just to practice this before we get looking at superheroes again, I've put a picture here on the screen for us. So if you look here, you're going to see it's a picture, and it's a picture of a bus. Yes, we've got a picture of a bus. Now our job is to describe the bus, and the easiest way to describe the bus is to use descriptive words. And words that describe a thing are called adjectives. What are they called? Yes, they're adjectives. We know this, don't we? And adjectives are any words that describe something for us. Okay, so it might be the colour of something, it might be how big something is, it might be how small something is, it might be how it looks, all of those things, okay? So our job, first of all, I'm going to help you, is to describe this bus. So it is and I'm going to look carefully, and something that jumps out at me is that I can see the colour of the bus is red. So it is a red bus. I have just described the bus because I've told you something about it and I've described it. It's red, okay? If I go on to a next sentence, I'm going to look at the size. Now, I can see here there's like a van, and the van's I think vans are quite big when I'm next to a van, but actually looking here, the van looks quite small next to the bus, which means that that bus is really, really big. Really big. What's another word for really big? What's a more interesting word? I have one. I'm going to write the red bus is huge. Huge is a word that could describe this bus, because if you couldn't see the bus and I told you the red bus is huge, then in your mind you're going to get a picture of a really big bus that's red. So that would mean that I've described it properly. Well done, Miss Shannon. I wonder if you can look at this and think of another way to describe this bus. I'm going to look. The bus has round wheels. That's another way to describe it. Could I now use and to join these sentences? I'm going to do this. It is a red bus and it is huge. There, I've used and here. So I've used a conjunction, which is and, because that is a word. I've taken two sentences and I've joined them together to make a longer sentence using and. So that is how we are going to be describing today, guys. That is what description means. It means looking at something or feeling something or listening to something and describing how it looks, sounds, feels or smells. So in your success criteria today, you're going to use adjectives, which are those describing words. You're also going to try to use verbs. Because you're going to be talking about your superhero, you will have chosen a superhero power. So that might be flying, that might be becoming invisible, it might be running at the speed of light. So verbs are doing words. So that could be anything that your superhero does to move. It might be running, jumping, flying. I'd like you to get one of those in. And then remember your punctuation. This is your full stops at the end of a sentence, capital letters at the beginning of a sentence, and you might even want to use an exclamation mark. Do you remember what we use an exclamation mark for? It's when we say it with feeling. So if you say, wow, you might use an exclamation mark there. Anything that you write that you say with feeling, okay? And then your little extra challenge is to see if you could use and to extend a sentence. So I'm going to show you exactly what to do today. So here I have Super Cat, cat with a K, because it's based on Miss Foster, whose first name begins with a K. So Super Cat here. And then I've also on your worksheet put this, okay? And these are some superhero words to help you in your description if you need them, okay? So I'm going to start. So I'm going to start with Super Cat can run so fast. There I've used the word fast here, okay? Then I'm going to look. Oh, there's some boots. I might use that because she has, oh, how could I describe Super Cat's boots? Can you ever think? I'm going to put Super Cat has beautiful yellow boots. That's good description, because if you close your eyes and you can see this picture and I said Super Cat has beautiful yellow boots, you would probably imagine the boots that she's wearing. Let me have a look here. What else could I use?